5:39. Not exactly a picture-perfect kind of morning.
Not by any means. And I mean, once again, it's like deja vu, seeing those images of what these storms are doing in other states. I mean, it's mind-blowing.
And luckily, again, it's not as strong as it was here as it was back there.
That's right. Yeah, yesterday we were all watching, we being the weather team, watching the cold front move through. And I was telling you earlier this morning, there were 9 tornado warnings at one time, really lining the entire western border, western state line of Louisiana. It really was a messy setup yesterday. Definitely an outbreak situation. And thankfully for us here at home, that is not the case. But nonetheless, we do still have a severe threat in play. Right now, nothing at severe limits here across the area, just some rain starting to move in, and it is very windy. I'm sure for those of you watching, you've probably heard some of that wind outside of your window, and we do have some gusts upwards of 30 miles per hour to kick off the day, and in any severe storms could experience wind gusts upwards of 60 miles per hour. So here is that front bringing rain to parts of I-75. Of course, that's a popular commute spot for the morning if you're about to head out the door. In places like Houston County, Pulaski, also Crisp and Dooley, you are going to run into some rain. And really, if you're west of 75, places like Upson, Taylor, Macon, Crawford, Monroe County, you are going to run into some fairly steady, if not heavy rain paired with the wind. There is a tornado watch just out to our west. I don't anticipate that rolling into our area and extending into our area, but we do have a low-end tornado threat for the day today. Notice on the loop, you can see all the thunderstorm activity weakening as it makes its way into central Georgia. That, of course, is good news. And in part, thanks to the timing, this is rolling through in the early morning hours where we don't have any fuel for storms. But those wind gusts, those really damaging wind gusts could still make it to the surface, thunderstorm activity or not. All the severe storms down to our south along the Florida Panhandle near the Dothan and Panama City Beach area. We do have a severe threat, of course, today, like we've been talking about all morning. Level 2 out of 5 threat for places south and east of Macon. Otherwise, fairly isolated with that level 1 of 5 threat. Damaging wind gusts, heavy rain. Those are going to be the 2 most widespread threats for us. But again, can't rule out a brief isolated tornado, especially if you're south and east of Macon. But that threat, thankfully, is on the low end for us here at home. Obviously, that was a very different story out to our west, where we are thinking about all those people in Louisiana, Mississippi, Arkansas, and even Alabama. So right now, here's a live look on top of the fairgrounds. You can see a good picture of what a lot of central Georgia is going to look like this morning. Windy and wet along the highways. So again, can't stress enough that you drive extra carefully this morning. All this wind surging out of the south, that's pulling in some warm air. So you are going to notice it's warm and muggy. And of course, we've talked about this before. You need the warmth. You also need the moisture. Then you need that lifting mechanism to allow for severe storms. And of course, that front being our lifting mechanism. 68 in Perry with a dew point in the low 60s. Not very comfortable out there. Here's a look at those wind gusts. This is definitely something to battle this morning. 21 is where we're gusting in Macon, 29 down in Cordele, 26 in Eastman, and 18 in Butler with those sustained winds upwards of 18 miles per hour in Warner Robins. Can't stress enough, do not be in a rush this morning and stay weather aware. We have that damaging wind gust threat. That is still very dangerous, and you don't want to be heading out and about if there is a severe thunderstorm actively going on in your area. So just be sure you have our app. That's a great way to receive weather warnings. So if you're about to head out the door and take the kids to school, head to work, and there's a severe thunderstorm ongoing, you just need to wait just a couple of minutes until that passes, as this front will move through fairly quickly. By 8 a.m., some heavy rain starting to push in. Notice the front falling apart, not going to be quite as linear as it was out to our west. And as we head towards 11 a.m., if you are west of 75, you're in the clear, and we bring that threat to our southeastern counties. And then we're done by 1 o'clock. Second half of the day looks great. Again, wind and rain are going to be our 2 primary threats. Can't rule out a brief isolated tornado, though, for the morning today. Then we're dry with lots of sunshine Friday through Monday. Looks like our next rain chance returns by Tuesday of next week.